Track wrestling here at preseason nationals with Richard Jensen. Be a champion in life. And Richard, your story, one of the more phenomenal ones that I've had the opportunity to tell through the years. But I guess for the people that might not know, can you give a short version of your story and how you got here and what you're doing now?
Absolutely. You know, obviously my story's out there in the world. A lot of people do know it, but those that aren't familiar with it, I spent 20 years after high school in addiction and drugs and alcohol, and found my way to prison and homelessness. And I was at a very, very low point in 2003 where I had pretty much lost everything I owned. I'd been addicted to drugs and alcohol for a long time, and just that hopeless feeling I had at the time, I knew I needed something different in my life, something more positive. And within a couple of years of staying sober, I realized I needed wrestling back in my life. And so I restructured it around the sport of wrestling. Didn't know if I'd go on and win. I just knew that wrestling was going to bring value to my life, and it was going to help me find a higher level of success than what I had been, the life I'd been living. And so fortunate enough that the comeback was the recipe I needed for success long term. Went back to college at 37, competed at the junior college level, took a lot of losses my comeback year, but stayed in it, stayed training, and my second year I found some wins. 37, 38 at the junior college level was big feat, but at the end of the day my life was getting better having wrestling at my side. And so I went on to compete with the veterans for another 8 years, and competed for 9 years since I got sober and left that life behind. Went on to become a national champion in the veterans, and here I stand with 16 years sober. And so it's a testament that hard work pays off, and that if you're willing to sacrifice and continue to do the right thing, you can overcome just about any challenge life brings at you. And the struggle is real out there. We're dealing with youth suicide is really high, and vaping is unbelievable, the number of kids vaping, and drugs and alcohol. There's a lot of things pulling at these kids today, and so they need a breath of fresh air. They need to hear about the dangers of some of the choices they're making from a guy like me who's been through the trenches, that's overcome it and found success. And they need to know that not only those tough choices can destroy your life, but also you make bad choices and your life's not over. It doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter what you've been through, you can overcome those challenges and become a better person and live a better life. So I speak to upwards of 50,000, 60,000 kids today around the nation with my organization, Be a Champion in Life. And we're speaking from anywhere from middle schools through colleges. We do public leadership, corporate leadership events about raising the bar and overcoming challenges, setting your goals and chasing after your dreams. And what wrestling did for me, I had no idea the role wrestling was going to play in my life. I knew that it would help, but I had no idea that it was going to bring me where I'm at today. And these kids today need to understand, and we need to teach it and coach it, that yes, we want to win matches, but at the end of the day, the value that wrestling's bringing into their life, someday down the road, they could be struggling. They could be struggling in life like I was. They could have some challenges they're facing, but there's things they're going to learn from their coaches. There's things they're going to learn from competition. There's things they're going to learn from guys like me and seminars and camps and clinics. And they're going to carry around a toolbox the rest of their life, and it's something they can dig out and use later on in life. When rubber hits the road and life gets tough, they're going to reach into that toolbox and use something they learned from the sport of wrestling. And that's the recipe for success, is wrestling just being in these young kids' lives.
What was it about wrestling that helped you pick yourself back up and get on this track that you're on now?
One of the most important things was having something consistent in my life, something positive, but also, let's be honest, we all want to be included. We all want to be a part of something. We all need a good team environment around us and good positive people to help elevate our skills and our assets. For me, being around athletes and elite athletes at the time, being around college students, being around athletes that were trying to succeed and win a national title, just being in that environment was going to help me. I'd been around so much negative in my life. I knew that being in that wrestling room, whether I won or lost, it didn't matter. I knew that it was going to help me because of the value that would bring to my life. I always wanted to something kids yearn for, and that's part of the problem. They want to be included, they want to be a part of, and that's why sometimes those things pulling at them, it seems attractive at times. And so we got to continue to create a positive environment around these kids, and it's going to help them succeed.
Do you ever stop to think about how wild it is what you're doing now? I mean, given where you were 16 years ago and now the positive impact that you're having on young people's lives?
Yeah, sometimes I wake up in the morning and let's just say I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed, feeling blessed today. You know, I mean, I obviously had to do a lot of work, you know, to get here. But let's be honest. A guy like me coming from a poor lifestyle and years of bad choices, stepping into the wrestling room, having that wrestling team, having the wrestling community take me in with open arms. Let's be honest, it could have been easy to turn the other way and go, oh, this isn't going to work. They took me in with open arms and accepted me for who I was. They didn't care about what I'd done. All they cared about was who I was and what am I doing moving forward, you know. And I've seen a lot of guys get clean. I've seen a lot of guys and girls, people stay clean for a period of time. But I've also seen a lot of them fall off. I feel fortunate every day to be sober and be able to do what I do. And I think the most important thing was that I insulated myself, and also I've made myself accountable to every kid that I talk to every day, every coach that I speak to, every wrestling room I step in. I've made myself accountable, so I've insulated myself pretty thick, and so it's helped me stay sober and stay the course.
I think, this goes back 11 years. I think the story I wrote about you that led to ESPN Outside the Lines piece, but you said that you thought back to the happiest times of your life when you were in prison, and wrestling was connected to those times when you were, 16, 17, 18 years old. What did people it was Clackamas, right? What did people at Clackamas say when you showed up at 37 years old and said, I want to wrestle?
Well, you got to remember, I'm 10 years, 12, 15 years older than the coaches, 20 years older than the athletes. This is a very unique, rare situation. You know, you got the old guy stepping on the mat again, you know, so it was awkward. There was some separation for a while. It was like, he'll make it a day, he'll make it a week, you know. They didn't know that I was there for the long haul, you know, and so it took a while for me to connect with them, you know, because it was such a unique situation. And pretty soon I became kind of an extension of the coach's arm. I really became an important part of the team. Like just the fact of me being there and bringing life lessons into the wrestling room and coming through so much struggle, you know, it makes a loss on the mat very minuscule, you know, and it actually helped elevate the athletes around me, you know, and for me, I needed them to accept me at some point so that I felt a part of, so that I could continue to chase, you know, and it wasn't easy. I was hurting. I was taking losses the whole season, and there was times I got up in the morning, looked in the mirror, and I go, what am I doing, you know? Can I take another loss? Felt like throwing in the towel a lot of times, but I just kept thinking back of what life was like before. And I just kept thinking, this is going to make sense someday. This is going to be the most important decision I can make. Get up, show up, and train every day, you know? And, but it became a big family, great community, Clackamas Community College for 2 solid years. It was just such an important couple years for me, and also for a lot of those young athletes trying to figure out and find their way, you know? It was pretty good for everybody involved.
You said what, 50 to 60,000 young people you talk to a year?
A year, nationwide, yeah.
And then camps and clinics, you got the bus.
Yeah.
Tell people a little bit about the bus.
Yeah, you know, I added a bus to my brand. You know, I travel around, fly around, speak to kids. And I added a bus for team transit so that I could be more a part of the sport. So I could, help Oregon wrestling, and so I got a big transit bus, and it's awesome. It's been fun, man. I've been able to take teams I've been to Fargo twice with it. I've been up to Montana, Nevada. I've taken teams to camps. I've taken teams to competition, and so the bus is great for team transit. Helps with team building and keeping all the athletes together, 33 athletes together on the road instead of like 2 or 3 vans, and it gives me an opportunity to talk to those athletes, you know, and so I get to meet a lot of teams that I might not have met without the bus. So the bus has been fun.
Where can people hear your message? this year. Where all are you going to be on tour?
Yeah, so I got a lot of stuff out on the West Coast over the next month. I'll be in California, I'll be in Washington, and obviously Oregon's a big part of during the wrestling season. I do a lot in Oregon. I'll be over in Iowa, late wrestling season. I'll be in Michigan and New York. So those are the states that are on the schedule already for throughout the wrestling season.
Hey, thanks so much, Rich. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Andy.